itself. The question is, are you ready to take it? Another example of my own disruptive behavior came more than a decade ago. Back in 1998, I was serving on a committee in London looking to find a new artistic director for this beautiful 200-year-old Victorian theatre in London called the Old Vic. Anyone been to the Old Vic Theatre? There it is. 1,040-seat theatre. I'd done a play at the Old Vic the previous year, and I fell in love with the place. And while the Old Vic had this great, remarkable legacy, it had fallen on hard times for about 30 years. I think a British newspaper, The Guardian, said that the theatre might shut down and then speculated as to what it might become if it wasn't saved. It might become a theme pub, or a bingo hall, or a lap dancing club. I'm not saying that's bad. So the thought was to save the theatre by finding a qualified new artistic director and returning it as a destination to audiences by becoming a producing house once again, as it had been under the directorships of Laurence Olivier, John Gielgud, and Peter O'Toole, who ran the Old Vic for many years. And then it occurred to me, I want this job. For me, it was another big risk. I just spent the last decade of the 90s carving out a career for myself in the film business. American Beauty had just come out, and the gravy train was ready to leave the station. But live theater has always been my first love. And so, with a whole bunch of my business associates looking at me like slightly puzzled dogs, I decided to move to London in 2003 to begin a new company, and I made a 10-year commitment to running the Old Vic theatres. Now, the British press were not particularly kind during my first couple of seasons at the Old Vic. The London Evening Standard called my leadership a glittering crisis. Another paper wrote that I should resign for my disastrous tenure. But I knew I was playing the long game. And I knew that as an American actor, primarily known for his film work, I would face a tough time running such an important British institution. But my first responsibility to this 1,000-seat theater was to get asses in the seats. And we did. And we continue to do so. In fact, in 2010, we won a Special Evening Standard Award for bringing new life back to the Old Vic. And just a few weeks ago, we celebrated the opening of my 11th and final season as artistic director of the Old Vic Theater. I will step down and leave the Old Vic in great shape, and a new artistic director will take over. He's committed for the next 6 seasons, which is fantastic. Now, here's the truth. I could have passed on this opportunity to make such a significant change in my life. No one would have thought any badly of me if I just continued to make movies. But what gets me out of bed in the morning is taking that risk, is doing things that are unexpected and challenging. And this brings me to my third point. When you combine data and analysis with an ability to step outside of your comfort zone, you will thrive. More than 100 years ago, IBM was not even IBM. It was the Computer Tablet Recording Corporation. And when Thomas Watson took over, CTRC became IBM, and the company that made timekeeping systems, coffee grinders, automatic meat slicers, became the company that foresaw the dawn of the electronic age. IBM made the leap into building computers, even though it meant leaving their core business, those deli slicers, behind. And in recent years, IBM has reinvented itself again as both a hardware maker and a software and service provider. Watson continues IBM's core mission to put information in the hands of its customers faster and more efficiently than anything tried before. It provides treatment for doctors, treatment options for doctors. It helps financial advisors prepare clients